What's good? What's happening? What's up? This is the Boxing Source, and I'm here to talk about what Bob Arum said during the press conference or conference call that was yesterday that included Vasily Lomachenko. He was talking about fights that will be on ESPN, and one of the fights that he was talking about is the WBO welterweight championship fight between Terence Crawford and Kell Brook. That's right, Terence Crawford, Kell Brook, ESPN in November, most likely November 14th. This is going to be a fairly interesting fight, given that Kell Brook had been campaigning a few times at 154 pounds after, losing the IBF title to Errol Spence Jr. Over in the UK a few years ago. So he's going down to 147, and he's going to fight for the WBO welterweight championship held by Terence Crawford. Of course, Terence Crawford was a former undisputed super lightweight champion, moved up to 147 pounds, defeated Jeff Horn for that WBO title. He had his last fight against who they called as the mandatory Egidijus Kavaliauskas. We saw, like in the first few rounds, the timing and movement of Kavaliauskas kind of threw off Terence Crawford a little bit. Did get hit with a good little shot that could have been scored as a knockdown, but he made the adjustments, bit down on his mouthpiece, and eventually broke down Kavaliauskas to get the stoppage win last year. So now he's going up against Kell Brook, and people are going to see if this is the Kell Brook that had his performance against Gennady Golovkin before we had that issue with his eye that had that fight stopped, and then the performance against Errol Spence Jr., where he had a good performance, and then he had an issue with his other eye, and it eventually got stopped. So we are going to see how Terence Crawford performs against Kell Brook in November. But after that, of course, a lot of people are talking about, okay, who else is Terence Crawford going to fight? Because there are a good number of people that feel like Kell Brook is not that particular fighter that he was in those days where he was going up against the likes of Gennady Golovkin and Errol Spence Jr., right? So they're looking to see if Terence Crawford could eventually fight like someone like a Sean Porter or a Keith Thurman or someone like that, or your Dennis Ugas, or even a Ray Robinson that was out there that campaigned for a fight against Terence Crawford. But that is to try to build up to the eventual quote unquote super fight between Errol Spence Jr. and Terence Crawford. Like I've said multiple times, that particular fight would likely be for the undisputed welterweight championship. But we'll see if that happens sometime in 2021 or even in late 2022. That's if Terence Crawford goes through, handles his business in this particular fight against Kell Brook, and you also have Errol Spence Jr. defending the unified titles that he has against Danny Garcia on November 21st. But like I said, Bob Arum basically said Terence Crawford and Kell Brook will be in November on ESPN, and this is where you don't have to have customers paying for a bunch of money just to see a fight if it's not a pay-per-view fight. But this here is a pay-per-view fight, and these guys are gonna get a lot of money, but we're going to have it on ESPN. That's what we're going to do for the fans. We're going to have Terence Crawford defending his WBO title against Kell Brook in November on ESPN. We're not like Sky Sports, who wants to have all of their fights on pay-per-view. We're not going to do that to our fans here in the U.S. We're going to have these great fights on ESPN. And there you have it. So be sure to subscribe, Boxing Source, here on YouTube. We have the podcast live Sunday, 7:30. Catch that, or catch it on iTunes, Google Podcasts, Spotify, whatever you use for podcasts. That's it for here. For now, I'm out. Peace.